Good evening, vinyl community. Hi, I hope everybody's doing really well on this swelteringly warm and sticky Saturday evening. Yeah, we've had some really hot weather again in the UK. Here in the Midlands, it's probably a little bit cooler than it certainly is down south, London and Bournemouth and that kind of south coast. I think there's been a huge exodus down there. Everybody wanted to go to the beaches, and it's been pandemonium with crowds and so on. So let's just hope everybody's keeping safe and socially distanced, if that's at all possible to do that. But yeah, I've had a really good weekend so far. Last night, I went to Highbury Park in Kings Heath, which is a suburb of Birmingham, not too far up the road from here. Met up with my brother and some friends, and we took some cans into the park and sat under the old oak tree, and had guitars, bongos, etc., and we're just playing music until the late hours. The mosquitoes were kind of coming down and marauding us, and but yeah, wonderful just to chill out and have a few beers, a few laughs, and some get into your music. It's great fun. So yeah, today I've been to my shop as always, as is becoming a habit. Ben messaged me as usual earlier in the week, and the stuff he showed me, I just couldn't say no to it. I spent quite a bit of money. I'm not going to say how much I spent, but yeah, there's one or two originals here, some reissues, one issue in particular that was pretty expensive, but he'd cut me a good deal on it, so I couldn't really say no. So yeah, and just a few others that are quite common that are just filling holes in my collection. So yeah, I've got 8, I think, to show. So yeah, let's go for it. Okay, yeah, just kicking off. First two are a couple of holes that I needed to fill in my Yes collection. This is Yes's eponymous self-titled debut, 1969 release. There's all the guys there in the gatefold. This is a Atlantic 70s press, but by no means obviously a particularly early press, but it does have the lyric sheet with it, which is quite nice. So, and it's in really pretty good condition. So I've seen this quite a bit, this album, but it was nice to pick up a clean copy. And yeah, I really like this. Beyond and Before, the opening track, I love it. Fantastic. Just the energy and exuberance of that song is just magical, really is. I love the extended version of the Bird's Eye See You, the Crosby song as well. I think they do a really good version of that. So yeah, I was pleased to get that. And then I also picked up their second album, which I think Chris at the Vinyl Orchard showed this earlier, I think. This is a later repress, but with the lyric sheet as well there. Yeah, I really like early Yes. This is easily my favorite period of theirs. There you go. That's on the Atlantic label again. Yeah, and he knocked the price down on both of these. So, because as I say, I did spend quite a bit of money today. So, really pleased to get that. Yeah, this is a great album. Yeah, again, I mean, it's one that I've heard loads of times, streamed it, but just never owned it in the collection. Yeah, the Everyday is Stephen Stills compilation. I love. It's quite jazzy actually. The feel on this album, It's very different to sort of when Rick Wakeman came in, and they became far more of a sort of keyboard led band, and not as interesting in my opinion. But yeah, I really like this. You can tell that with this and the first one, they're kind of feeling their way. But I like that in a way. There's a kind of naivety there that's nice, and yeah, I enjoy the vibe of both of those albums. So yeah, sort of after sort of the Yes album, for me, they just got a bit well, Fragile, certainly. I quite like Fragile, but yeah, sort of once it gets to sort of going for the one, it all gets a little bit too much really for me. Yeah, so moving on. This is an album that I'd seen a couple of times, never got around to picking up before today. I thought I'd pull the trigger on it. This is the history of Fairport Convention. So this is a retrospective album of their material, from what we did on our holidays up to sort of Babacoon Lee, I believe. So certainly their early period. Wonderful. I love the little seal there on the front, and yeah, that family tree there, which I'm going to have great fun reading, seeing as all the people sort of coming and going. Judy Dyball, yeah, and Ashley Hutchings, Sandy Denny, of course, departure of Richard Thompson, and then them carrying on. But yeah, I love the presentation of this. This is obviously it's a double album, but the gatefold there, I think it's really well presented. I love the pictures there, and there's this kind of there's this booklet kind of stapled into the middle of it. It gives a kind of bit of a kind of synopsis of each of the songs, which is really nice. So yeah, but just really well put together, and yeah, it wasn't expensive, so very pleased to pick that up. Because I have a repress of their first album and Legion Leaf, and yeah, but I don't have sort of what we did on our holidays and on Half Bricking. I don't have those albums, so that's really nice to have as a stopgap until I pick those albums up. Okay, the next one, absolutely delighted to pick this up. I've seen this shown a couple of times by the kind of the psych heads on the VC, and I've always wanted to pick up a reissue of this. This is July, so this is the legendary UK psych album. It's the originals of this are highly sought after, and I think I went online and on eBay the other day, and I think there was one on their UK press of this for in excess of £2,000. So yeah, extremely rare but extremely good. Yeah, this is just fabulous stuff. You got the single My Clown Dandelion Seeds, which is just what a killer way to start the album. Jolly Mary, To Be Free, Friendly Man. It's just amazing, sort of the modulated voices and the fuzz guitar, and it's all the stuff that you want in a really great psych album. Great melodies, harmonies, superb, absolutely superb. The main man in this, of course, was Tom Newman. Tom Newman, who went on to record and collaborate with Mike Oldfield and produce certainly Tubular Bells, and I think amongst other albums as well. Although he has released his own music, sort of his own albums as well. But yeah, fabulous, fabulous. I'll show you the label on this, because this is they really nicely reproduce the original label on this on major minor. So yeah, a nice polyline sleeve. So it's going to hopefully be devoid of too many hairline scratches and should sound pretty good. So yeah, delighted to get that. Changing it up completely, I also picked this up, which is Dinah Ross's Greatest Hits, yeah, yada yada. But this is quite a nice copy with a gatefold on Tamla Motown. I've got a few Supremes albums, but I didn't have any Dinah Ross at all. So pleased to pick this up. You got all the hits here. Touch Me in the Morning, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I'm Still Waiting, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. Just great, beautiful, beautiful soul. Happy to get that. And he actually threw that in as a freebie, so I was even happier with that one. Okay, so we're getting into the sort of the heavier hitters here, which I was really pleased to pick up. This is next one is Robin Scott, and this is a reproduction of his 1969 album Woman from the Warm Grass. This is a Sunbeam Records reissue, which is actually still sealed. Yeah, and this is a guy who this album itself is a kind of sort of cult classic, sort of acid folk, which is exactly the kind of stuff that I love to listen to when I find these albums and have the opportunity of really delving deep into them. And it's wonderful. And there's actually Mighty Baby, the British psych band, playing on this as well. Not on all the tracks, but certainly on a good portion of them. So it's kind of heavy in places and very sort of quite sort of folky in other places. He's got a great voice. And yeah, it's a wonderful album. I streamed this obviously when Ben told me that he got it in, and yeah, I listened to the first 3 or 4 songs and was completely sold. So very, very, very happy to pick that up. What I didn't realise was that Robin Scott has actually been involved with a lot of projects, obviously, since then. And this is an album that I've had for probably 30 plus years. And this is the people who certainly in the UK will know this. This is M, who had a huge hit in 1979 called Pop Music. And yeah, Robin Scott was actually responsible for this project. So you couldn't really get two more sort of opposite ends of the music spectrum, sort of psych, folk to kind of sort of experimental kind of electronic pop. So yeah, but diversity is just brilliant. Just shows the diversity of artists and how they develop as musicians with their ideas and everything, and always keeps it interesting. Okay, so these last two, really, really pleased about these. Neither of these were cheap, but very, very pleased to get them nonetheless. Okay, the first one is this is a compilation album that came out in 2013, and this is a collection. I'm not sure if it's an entire collection, but it's it's most of her recorded works. And this is Nick Drake's mother, and this is Molly Drake. This is just, as far as I can see, this is a self-titled album. This is on Squirrel. Was released on Squirrel Thing. Okay, obviously Molly Drake, the mother of Nick Drake, and I was aware of her music because I've obviously been streaming, and there's been various sort of tracks of hers and songs that have been uploaded that I'd heard, and she's just brilliant. This is like basically recorded at Farley's, which was their home in Tamworth in Arden, and this is Rodney Drake, Molly's husband, who recorded these on a reel-to-reel recorder, and it's just literally just Molly on the piano, unaccompanied, just her and her voice, and the songs are just really beguiling, and they sort of go from the sort of the sort of philosophical to quite strange and dark, sort of some of the lyrics. Wonderful, very poetic. She apparently wrote a lot of poetry, as well as being a great musician and pianist. I mean, and I mean, obviously, I'm yet to play this particular vinyl record, but certainly from what you can hear online, the recordings have, I believe, been kind of retouched up and so on by John Wood, who was obviously the engineer who worked on Nick's albums. It's just wonderful. The packaging of this is just superb. It's kind of in this embossed. I don't know that you can see that. It's light's not very good. Let's see if that makes any difference. No, that's not made any difference at all. Okay, but this is this kind of has like this is like a kind of matte cover, and there's like an embossed kind of lovely kind of pattern around here to make it look like an old kind of photograph. And it's got embossed there at the bottom Molly Drake. It's beautifully, just so tastefully kind of packaged. And there's the songs on the back. So there's 19 songs on here. As I say, I was asking Ben in the shop because he'd done a bit of research on this, and he wasn't sure whether this is a definitive compilation of all her recorded works, but it's certainly a majority of them, and the ones on here that I've heard online are included on this. So I'll just show you the inner sleeve. So that comes out, and then there's that lovely portrait of her. She's just so like her daughter's just so like Gabrielle. Just the likeness, and you can obviously see Nick in there as well. And then I think there's a bit of a biopic on the back, which I haven't read yet, but I'll enjoy reading that later. And then there's a kind of an image of a kind of steaming cup of tea there. So it's, very English. And I'm just going to put the light on because there's a quote here. I'm not sure whether this is from one of her songs or this is one of her poems. The writing's quite small, so I'm going to see if I might actually put my other glasses on here so I can read this. Okay, and it says, and I quote, "Amid the unceasing round of starts and flurries, my heart is busy at its usual game, the manufacturing of woes and worries, lest the serene of life should seem too tame." That's fabulous. Yeah, and I love that little engraving sort of there as well. So yeah, just absolutely delighted to pick this up. As I say, I think it was quite limited it was quite a limited press. I'm not sure how many, but yeah, it wasn't cheap, but he gave me a good deal on it anyway. But yeah, I think it is still available on CD as well, and some of the songs are also available on the Drake Family Tree compilation as well, I think. So yeah, so delighted to get that. And then this one is I never thought that I'd actually own this record. I've seen it shown on a number of times on the VC over the years. I think it's a kind of real cult classic, and I've streamed it a few times, and it is wonderful. This is a UK original pressing of Farewell Aldebaran by Jerry Yester and Judy Hensk. Now, Jerry Yester was a former member of the Loving Spoonful, and he was actually thrown out of the band and replaced by, I think it was a guy called Yinsky, or I can't remember his name exactly. But yeah, this is a husband and wife sort of collaboration. That's Jerry Yester there, and this is his wife Judy Hensk, and their child there with a cat. So yeah, you got the kind of sort of the negative there on the front, and then the positive print there on the back. But yeah, Judy Hensk is kind of this weird kind of poet and sort of folk singer, and she's got an incredible voice. It sort of goes from very melodic and shrill to sort of slightly dissonant and quite strange. There's all kinds of instruments being played on this album, and it's I sort of liken it to, even though it doesn't sound anything like it, to something like Peter Gabriel's first album, which I often refer to as a kind of smorgasbord of styles, because not one song on this album sounds like the next one. They're all very, very different and individual. And I love that in music. You know, you hear albums with that kind of level of creativity, and you know you're listening to something really, really special. And yeah, this certainly delivers. So yeah, let's show you the gatefold with the lyrics, and it's on this wonderful Albright label. Kind of, it's actually pink, but with this light, sorry, it's coming out as orange. Do apologise about that. If I turn the light off, though, it's going to be too dark now, I think, so the light's fading. So yeah, again, this is just you know, an album that I just didn't think that I'd own, and you know, these albums don't come along very often, and like I say, I spent quite a bit of money, but you know, the collector in you just has to sort of say, just get it. You've just got to buy them when you see them. So yeah, really, really pleased to pick that up. Yeah, so that's it, guys. And yeah, I'm going to obviously enjoy working my way through those. There's quite a few videos uploaded this weekend, so great to see people going out and buying vinyl again, visiting shops, and so on. Obviously, if you're doing though, guys, obviously take care, wear the mask, take the hand gel, which I always do. Yeah, and hopefully we won't go too far wrong. So look after yourself, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. Don't fade away in the heat. And enjoy yourselves, and I'll be back with another video hopefully really soon. Cheers, all the best, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.